Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Shayna Cersei. I'm so excited to paint with you today. Today we are going to paint not only another page in our watercolor journals, but the last page in this particular journal that I have here today. So of course I had to prolong it and make it two different paintings. So today we're going to do a landscape and we're going to keep it super simple. But someone said, can you do a landscape with like dotted a flower field? So sure, we can do one of those, but these are going to be really loose and really simple. For those of you who struggle with keeping things loose, this will be a great one for you because it's just sky and ground that we're going to be concentrating on, and we're going to make sure that our minds and our brushes don't overtake the essence of the painting. Okay, we're going to work with the watercolor, not against the watercolor. Okay, so the biggest thing for these is color palette, I think, because we want that to really be the focus and the driver of these paintings or these ideas that we're going to be trying out in this journal. So I am going to do a pink sky and then greens and blues down in the ground. I'm going to be doing a meadow, so there'll be little dots of pinks and purples and yellows in there as well. So let's see, how am I going to do this? I am going to start with some Quinacridone Magenta, very, very light. And I'm actually going to add a little bismuth yellow to this, and we're going to make a peachy color. A little more magenta. I am using, oh, just to go over supplies and materials really quick, I am using a Bao watercolor sketchbook. 6x9 is the size and shape, 100% cotton paper, and then 140-pound cold press for the weight and texture. And I am using my Core QOR by Golden watercolor paints. Adding more water to this. I want to start light and kind of build up. So if you need to draw it in, you can, your horizon line, but I'm going to keep my sky pretty big in this and my ground pretty low. So this is going to be the ground, this is going to be the sky up here. So let's start. I'm also using a size 12 Princeton Select brush. I'm going to fill my brush with water, okay? I'm not really going to tap it out at all, and I'm going to pick up color with all that water in there because I want a really light. And I'm just going to kind of drag it across. Leaving lots of light space. I'm even dry brushing in some areas, letting the paint run out completely. And leaving this nice kind of stripey, streaky feel. And then, once I have this down, I'm going to start to add in a little bit more. I'm going to pick up a little yellow and add a little orange to this sky. Oh, that's a little too orange. I want it to be more peachy orange. That's okay. And you can see I'm trying to work around some of these white areas, leaving the suggestion of like wispy clouds. But also creating some depth and texture with these different colors in here. A little bit down here along the horizon. And then I'm going to let that dry. Actually, I'm going to go dark, like right along, not super dark, but darker, right along the top edge here. I think I'm going to lose this white. Again, the hardest part about this right now is stopping is going, that's enough. Let's walk away. It is subtle. It is a soft, delicate pink sky. It'll start to be a little bit more prominent when we add the green at the bottom. So let's go, while that is drying, I'm going to come in, and what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to work from the foreground back, I think. All right, so this is one way you could do it. I'm going to put in, so with these same pinks, maybe go a little bit pinker and a little bit more yellow. I am going to dollop in my flowers first. And these are not, so these are kind of big, and these are going to be like in the front. Just dots, like blobs and dots. So these on the edges and in the foreground, these big pieces, these that are very colorful because they're close to the viewer. These are going to be, let's make this a little bit later, close, and we're going to work around them. I'll show you. We're going to actually add stems that you can see to them. And now I'm going to take my sap green. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to take some of this yellow and pink, very light, and I'm going to just sprinkle them, very tiny dots in the background. Now, I'm also going to be using green. So one of the things is green and yellow work great together. Green and magenta, they can also work great together. They are complementary colors. They look great side by side. But when you mix them, they turn brown. They make the most beautiful, lovely brown. So we just got to keep that in mind. We're going to lose some of that luminescence of the pink in the background if our green covers it. So I'm going to take this sap green, I'm going to water it down. I do kind of want these to dry first. I'm working a little too quickly here. And I am going to just start painting around and between. You could use masking fluid to mask out where your flowers are going to be. I'm not the biggest fan of masking fluid. I don't know why. Sometimes it can be frustrating because if you don't use it all the time and you're not well practiced with it, it does have a learning curve. Some people might think that's silly, but you have to apply it thick enough that when it comes time to take it off, it's not leaving a residue on your page. And also it's just another step, especially in my journal, some experimenting. If I was really wanted to like experiment and like learn, now I'm just going to put this darker color in the front. Could definitely do it in my journal. Kind of making it darker around these tall areas, the areas where I put in certainly give a little love to the horizon line, make it a little darker. Okay, So now we're going to let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to put in my stems for the flowers that are in front. The stuff in the back you're not really going to see any level of detail with, but we could certainly go in with a smaller brush and put in some darker green areas, like, and you could even add some phthalo blue green shade to give it a cooler tone or color. I kind of really like this. So like right along the horizon line, you could add some other details like in between, but we'll get into that later. But of course I have to like finish now that I've put that color on there. Okay. I just don't want anything to dry weird. We're gonna let that lie. I love the subtle pinkness of the sky. I really do. Don't love this white here. Although we could play it up as a cloud, it just doesn't seem to kind of go with the other kind of soft areas. But we'll worry about that later. Let's move on to the next one. So for this other one, let's do something similar. But this is a very warm palette. So we have magentas and yellows, sap green in here, which has a lot of yellow undertones in it, yellows and magentas in the base. So let's do magenta again, do a pink sky, but I'm going to introduce some blue to go to the purpley side, and with my green I'm going to introduce blue to the green as well. So we're going to be very similar but a cooler version. So starting with a really light color of pink, and then I'm going to pick up, I'm trying to decide if I should, yeah, I'll pick up my warm blue, which is Ultramarine. Sorry, my brain was having a moment. So instead of adding little dibs and dabs of the yellow to make a peachy color, we're going to add little dibs and dabs of the blue. But same or similar technique. But you can see what a difference just a color palette change can make to the overall look and feel, the tone of a piece. And not even a major color palette change. Okay, and same thing with, we'll do pretty much identical. Let's pick out some more of this blue. We'll do some blue and magenta. I go a pretty bright magenta over here. All right, and then went a little crazy on the edges, but let's just dot little dots in the field. Okay, let's now green. We're going to start with the same sap green, but I'm going to add some of this blue to it, and it's going to give us a much more subtle, warmer, sorry, not warmer, cooler grayish green color. I'm going to take out my heat gun and just hit these little flower specks up here with a little heat. Okay, there we go. The only tricky part about that was drying it kind of before, like this part got dried too down here. So now it's creating a little bit of a funky line. But I will take care of that in post-production. We will add some leaves and some branches or something down there. And I'm trying to avoid the little specks, but I'm not like being super careful about it. I don't want, there's going to be overlap in nature. There's going to be mixing and mingling of colors. I don't want to try to be too perfect here. All right, so I went much darker here. And now I'm going to come back in my smaller brush, and you certainly could have used a smaller brush for this. I think I used my smaller brush on the other one. Okay, so now we have two lovely fields looking very similar, but the basic subtle change is that this one is a cool palette, this one is a much warmer palette. All right, so let's take our sap green over to back over this side. This is nice and dry, and I'm going to add details of stems and like some greenery at the bottom here. Just tapping in for all these beautiful flowers that are kind of in the forefront. At the very tip of my brush. I think there was meant to be one like way up here. chunky greenery down here, full. You could even add some above the horizon line way up front here that are super close to you. And then we can even go back and add some little details. Remember, they're far away, so you're not going to see all of the detail. So there's one. This one I think is pretty dry over here. You can use kind of the same sap green. It's dark enough. You could add blue to it. You could even add magenta to it and make it more of a brown tone. As long as it's dark enough. You could certainly go back in and add like a bleed-proof white for some white details or accents. If you wanted to add white flowers to the field and you didn't mask off anything. You could do this with all watercolor for your field and your sky, but then do your flowers in gouache. You can do a mixed media. The gouache is opaque and will kind of sit. Take my brush and do a little dry brushing back in my field here. Go along the horizon line. But this can be kind of messy, not perfect. A wildflower field is messy. I'm just adding dry brush texture. My brush, it felt right down here. And remember, fields have lots of vertical texture and horizontal texture. It's not always just completely horizontal or vertical. Lovely. All right, two very similar paintings with two different tones of color palettes. Which one do you like best? Are you a warm peachy kind of person? Or do you like the cool, moody version over here? Let me know in the comments. All right, I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to check out the description for links to supplies and materials. Go ahead and leave a comment. You can save this for later, as well as share it with a friend if you have a friend who you think might like painting along with us, and feel free to leave a comment. All right, y'all, take care. Happy painting.